In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made my Lucia from Mermaid Melody wig. If you haven't seen this anime, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's very adorable. And who doesn't love singing idle mermaids? Before we get started on this walkthrough, I just want to note for the record that I am not a professional when it comes to styling wigs at all. This is probably the most elaborate wig I've ever made, so my techniques might not be standard to some wig stylers out there. I am going to show you how I personally made this wig, and if you are interested, please keep watching. Once you gather all of your supplies, you're going to pin that sucker down. Pin that wig. Sounds like a game show. Pin that wig! This wig is a chibi style wig from Arta. And I don't remember the color, so I'll have to put the color in. I'm going to take a little strand of hair and pin it out of the way. This is going to be the little curly Q at the top of Lucia's head. The next step is cutting these ponytails off. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to chop these ponytails off. So right now I am just cutting off the long pieces of this rubber band because we don't need those in the way. The next thing I do is I secure that rubber band down with the glue gun onto the ponytail. I've had to do many tutorials where I have to cut these ponytails off for Sailor Moon and various other anime characters, and if you do not secure it properly, you will lose your ponytail. So make sure you secure that sucker down as best as you can. And then I do the same thing to the other side. When the ponytail is secure with hot glue, start chopping. Also make sure when you chop off this ponytail, you keep the hair together because you'll need that later. And now I'm just tidying up this little hair nub, trying to make it as even as I can. Hair nub. It doesn't have to look perfect because tons of hair is gonna go over this. The next step is you are going to take these wooden skewers and you are going to start to create a base for the big ponytails to rest on. So what I do is I take these long wooden skewers and I poke them from the inside of the wig out through the nub of the ponytail. This is going to take several skewers. You should not feel any pain from the wooden sticks. Yes, they'll rest on your head and yes, you will be able to feel them. However, it shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't do anything like that if you've done it right. If you've done it wrong, you might have another story. I even take a little bit of hot glue and I put it on the inside of the wig in between the wooden skewers just so that those skewers don't move. Once I have several skewers set in the ponytail, I begin to chop them off because we don't need them to be that long. With the spare skewers that you just chopped off, you want to shove those into the wig as well. And if you're a little kiddo, maybe you should get a parent's help on this part. You just don't want to end up hurting yourself. Be safe, friends. The next thing you want to grab is your cardboard, and I am just using this cardboard box that the wigs actually came in, and this is going to go around the skewers and create more support. I am folding the cardboard and then I am wrapping it around the nub and the skewers. The cardboard is nice because it rolls really easily, so you can contort the cardboard in any way that you need, but also it's thick and it's heavy so that it creates the support you need, unlike paper or something that's lighter. I feel like next time I do an elaborate wig like this, I need to look into some sort of foam support rather than the wooden dowel and cardboard support system that I've done here, but for this wig it worked, and for my first elaborate wig, I think it actually turned out really nice. This part is a little tricky doing it by yourself, but then you're going to tape the cardboard securely onto the wig. When the cardboard is secure on the rods, then I trim the rods to make them even with the end of the cardboard. Again, be careful with this part because these things like to ricochet. I put the big pigtails on hold and moved on to a different part of the wig, which was pretty challenging to figure out, but I needed to create her long curls that come down the side of her face, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I decided on taking some of that extra hair we cut off from the ponytails and gluing longer pieces onto the front of the wig. I wish I had done this differently, but honestly I didn't know how else to do it, and I didn't want to create my own wefts with a sewing machine. So I kind of did the cheapskate way of doing it, and I created wefts using tape and hot glue. If you do this, make sure that your hair pieces are even because mine were not. But I take a thick chunk of hair and I put some masking tape around it to hold the hair together, and I hot glue the ends so that they don't shift. Then I'm gonna place this extra hair on the inside of the wig and hot glue it down. This is the cheap, easy, but also bad quality way to add your own wefts. So if you have any ideas of how I would go about doing this in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Next up, the big ponytails. Oh, this was such a struggle. First thing I'm doing with these large ponytails, I'm taking the clip off because we will not need that. Careful with these big long wefts because they do like to tangle easily. The first Lucia wig that I tried to create, which isn't this one, the ponytail tangled so badly that I had to throw it away. Like, it was not salvageable. I tried everything to untangle that first wig, but it was just a lost cause. Hot glue the long ponytail to the base wig. I am a huge fan of using hot glue for wigs just because it's fast and easy. Yes, it might be a little messier than using other products like caulk and whatever else you may want to use. Sewing in your wefts would be much nicer too, but I am lazy and hot glue works for me. Next up, grab a hold of that big ponytail and we are going to secure it down with some fabric glue. If you don't like your hands getting sticky, you will not like this step. The fabric glue is used to secure the hair fibers together and make sure that the big ponytails don't fall in like every direction that it can. Once the hair is lathered in fabric glue, I clip the ponytail to secure it tight and let it sit for several hours. While the top of the ponytail is drying, I start brushing out the bottom. This was literally just to kill some time while I waited for the wig to dry. You can do this before or after, it doesn't really matter. And then I brush and brush and brush and brush my hair. Once it's all brushed out, I braided it out of the way just so that it doesn't get tangled again. The next step, and the step that definitely took the longest, take tiny sections of hair from that hair that you saved earlier from the base wig and start gluing it around the ponytail. This is going to hide that fabric glue and make the ponytail look much cleaner. What, did you think I was going to leave the ponytail looking like that? This is gonna be so heavy, it's gonna hurt my head. It's my new song. This side is done, this side is not. This side has the hair glued on it. I might go back through and hide a little more of the hot glue. Once I make the accessory, then I'll go back through and fix it up if I need to. I'll probably also go through and tease the ponytail a little bit so that it's fuller and matches the fullness of this. And this will be glued down a little more and stay a little more uniformed, hopefully. Looking good so far! Yee! This is what the wig looks like once all of the hair is glued down to both sides of the wig. Next, we are going to work on the bangs. I am not very good when it comes to teasing wigs. I don't know if it's because I don't use the right type of combs or the right type of hairspray or what it is, but I feel like I cannot get wigs to tease nicely. So if you have any tips on how to tease a wig, please send your girl some tips. Right now I'm just trying to tease the bangs. This is what I look like in the morning. Suddenly we went from Lucia to Bakugo. And then I am just brushing that hair downwards to create some volume. I try and curl the bangs a little bit, but like I said, I'm not the best with wig styling and it doesn't really work, but it does add a little volume, so I am pleased with that. It just didn't curl the way that I expected it to. Plus, this brush kept getting stuck, and I only have 2 hands, and I think I needed at least 4 for this part. Eventually, I give up on trying to curl the bangs because it doesn't really work, and now I'm trimming it. And now the little curls on the side of her face. I wish I had a better technique on how to do this part, but it's the only thing I could think of in the time frame I had. So I basically just curl the hair upwards and then I super glue it down. Not hot glue, super glue, just to make sure that it stays. But honestly, I couldn't think of another way to secure it down and make it stay like forever and have that forever hold. Was that like a super smart, innovative way to curl a wig, or is that like a super cheap, bad way to curl a wig? It worked. It worked for what I needed, but it was probably not ideal. Once the curl is super glued, I pinned it down and left that there for several hours so it could hold. One of my curls is way thicker than the other, which makes me super sad. I started off having not enough hair on one side and way too much hair on the other, so make sure that your curls are even if you do it this way, please. It's like eyeliner. When you get one eye to look like amazing, and the other eye just pales in comparison. For the little curl on the top of her head, I literally just tease it. I hot glue the tip so that it doesn't come apart, and then I curl it and dry it with a blow dryer. Cute! And this is the finished product! What do you think? Honestly, I think it's pretty good for not having any experience with wig making. Like, I am not a very experienced wig stylist when it comes to cosplays, but I think it turned out really nice. What do you think? There's definitely things that I would like to do in the future if I redid it. I think for a first go, it turned out pretty good. Love shower, beach!